Kobe, Pac, Michael. Basketball teams have a starting five. I always told myself if I could have a starting five for my motivation, Kobe, Pac. Michael's actually recently, Cena, and I never officially had a fifth one. Just all-time motivation, it was always Kobe, Pac, and Cena. All-time motivation, top three. You want to talk about GOAT and put them up for a unlimited debate? Cena and Kobe gonna be so close to each other. The only reason why Kobe would be, he has an advantage regardless. And this is no offense to Cena. And if I could talk to both of them in the room, they'll both understand. Because Cena works for a scripted company. His matches are typically predetermined. As far as we know, as far as I know, Kobe's sport is different. It's just a matter of who's the better, who has a better performance that day. Because you don't pick and choose, that's what makes it different. And that's why Kobe gets that slight advantage. But the passion, the determination, the work ethic, everything about both of these gentlemen holds them at a level higher than anyone could ever imagine, in my eyes. So, I bought out my phone today. Why did I bring out the phone today? For dramatic effect. Because I have no intentions of using it. But just knowing that it's readily available, it's like having the homie there to have your back just in case something cracks off. You don't need them there, but or maybe you need a witness, I don't know. Whatever it is, just having someone there is always good. Hey, how you doing? Just having there is good. So this is gonna be my homeboy now during these therapy sessions. I'm watching videos often, and now when I do cardio, it's not like I'm watching Kobe highlights or Laker highlights or just watching old school random stuff or just watching YouTube as a whole. I'm watching my videos because now I'm taking the time to edit my videos, to kind of like dissect them and be like, oh, this doesn't need to be there. Oh, add this. Oh, take this out. So now that I'm working all on my stuff, and I don't even know what dates it is I recorded, because sometimes it takes so long to get to a video to edit it. I'm like, oh, I forgot about this one. Or, oh, I've been waiting to get to this one. Because certain times you remember, like, dude, I was going off this day. I was talking about this, and I got in this, and I started looking at this camera, and I brought it close, and I was just like, man, I was emotional, dude. I was feeling it. Clearly, because you're in that zone. When you're in that zone, is those times when Kobe goes off for 62 3/4. When you're in that zone, is those times Kobe goes off for 81. And that zone is when you hit them clutch threes and you're just doing what you do, because that's what you do. I don't know how this was referenced, or why this was referenced, or where it came up, but this was in the past week, probably two. Same thing, we're trying to meet Cena. I was voted biggest chatterbox at Desert Hot Springs High School, 2002. Those of you that went to school with me, but like, we graduated 2000. I told you before, I got held back twice in high school. I'm not joking. Two, I was the first person with a parking permit at Desert Hot Springs High School. Because I was so damn old. I had a license and I had a car. That school was for freshmen and sophomores only. The very first year they opened, freshmen and sophomore only. I still had sophomore credits. So guess where I got to go? Because I lived in DHS. I was the only car in the parking lot. I could say that. I was the only car in the parking lot during the school year at Desert Hot Springs High School. Standing applause, go ahead, give me the clap. I'll add a clap gift right now. Nonetheless, lost the train of thought. It'll come right back. Desert Hot Springs High, parking permit, I'm old, go to school. The phone, dramatic effect. I lost it, lost it. Let's start from scratch, because I got plenty of time and I could get into my zone. So yeah. I think it's coming. So when I watch videos, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that was good. Oh, I like that. And then I'm ready to use it. So now what it does is it brings new thoughts to my head, because it was something I technically forgot about. So I forgot about this, or I said that, and then it gives me new information that I want to feed off of. You was getting into a zone, and then you lost that zone. So you want to continue that notion, that thought, subject. Since this phone will be right there on the treadmill with me, what I will be doing moving forward is just opening the notepad and typing a random note. Da 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 da. Blah 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 blah. When I said cold for you and cold for me might be different, check this out. That's cold for him. Because as clean as that paint job was, as nice as that body was, and clean and all this and that and this, not my style. If you said, hey, you want this? I'd be like, no. That's like throwing me a pair of bell bottoms and be like, hey, homeboy, you want to rock these tomorrow? No. No, thank you. So with that being said, yeah, so I'll just write down random notes I want to follow up on. And the crazy thing is, I told myself to bring this up time after time after time again. I have enough thoughts in this head where if I sat down 365 days out of the year and recorded, I could come up with new content every single day to talk about. That's the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much that goes on a daily basis because I've been watching the news consistently since probably about 2011, 2012, consistently watching. And it's just KCOW, ABC, KTLA, nothing fancy. But nonetheless, this is news. This is what everybody has access to see. Because I'll tell you as soon as they start the broadcast, streaming live, blah, 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 Hulu, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Because that's what it's all about now. Just more outlets for you to access them, to pick up the information that they're giving you. So, I've watched enough news and I see enough stuff to where, yes, I can talk about random thoughts every single day of life. But the fact is, especially when I was at the gym, let's go back to pre-pandemic. When I told you I was at the gym and I could take 10 to 15 minutes in between sets. When I'm writing notes and writing songs in between sets. When a thought goes through my mind in between sets and I want to write it down so I don't forget it. When I'm listening to YouTube and I hear, because Kobe highlights a lot, especially, this is way before he passed, because I told y'all, I don't bleed purple and gold, I bleed Kobe. I bleed Mamba mentality. When these thoughts come to my mind, sometimes I feel like I should write them down. I need to write them down. I want to reflect off of these at a later time in life. It might not be that same day, let alone that same year, with a lot of these notes I have, but they're there and they're available for me. So once I open up this phone and I pull up a random note, I don't know how much time I have tomorrow. Is the wife doing anything? She'll be off. But when I wake up, she might be at the gym. I don't know where she'll be. Depending on how much time I have after my cardio, will depend if I come out and record. So if it's not tomorrow and I still have this thought in my head, possibly worst case scenario, Thursday, maybe I will select a random date, pick a random note. Not to say read it, because these things could be lengthy, but reflect off a random note. I also created another note that talked about what specific celebrities had said about Kobe. For example, Stephen A. Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, things like my own personal references, which is either reflecting off of a reference that I've heard or just a thought that went through my head. So maybe because all of this started with Kobe's motivation, I'll open up that note. And after I read one random thought or quote, I'll have something to go off of and talk about for 13 minutes and hope that I can make it fabulous. Well, it's not even hope I can make it fabulous, because it will be. It'll be on point. It's going to be me doing what I do. Nonetheless, I'm going to find a note. I'm going to read a note, reflect off a note, and then we'll see what happens.